have something very important to let out of the bed. So we appreciate you, the press, for honoring our invitation. Before we invite to the podium the minister, we would like to, on behalf of the ministry, give the following remarks. President has announced 40% voluntary reduction salary. That announcement was made over the weekend. We'd like to emphasize that the president's action to reduce the salary demonstrates excellency commitment, fiscal integrity, and international financial scrutiny. The president's action also reflects determination to lead by example, strengthening government accountability, and demonstrating solidarity with the Liberian people, who, including all of us, face serious economic action. The president has said that he will not be indifferent to the suffering of the Liberian people. He will not indulge luxury and largesse while the people instead struggle. So, struggle with the Liberian people, when the conditions are better than the Liberian people, like he said. The president remains committed to economic inclusion in Liberia and has urged the civil service agency to ensure that the salaries of hard-working civil servants and public sector workers are in line with the current state of the nation's economy. That workers are receiving fair compensation for their contributions. As you may be aware, the President, His Excellency, Neutah is also attending the 50th Extraordinary Summit of the ECOWAS Head of State Government. The President is accompanied by Foreign Minister Lucila Besto-Ganti, Honorable Wema S. Kamara, Finance Minister, Honorable Amos Fue, Managing Director of the Nigeria Petroleum Company, Honorable Molly Kamara, Economic Advisor to the President. ECOWAS authorities took several key action decisions, including matters regarding the single currency of ECOWAS region, on food security, road and air transport, among others. What details? President and team are debugging the country. 5:30. Last Thursday, President chaired his first interministerial committee on decentralization. God knows that decentralization has been an involvement for the last couple of years in Liberia. That the decentralization bill passed by the legislature. The President is now prepared to set motion the full implementation of the Decentralization Act. After that event, the President came to Neutah. He was here at the Charles William Hall. He launched the civil service employees regularization project through the first batch public sector consultant. consultants have been recruited to upgrade the capacity of digitalization meeting. President called for the full implementation of the Revenue Sharing Act for the empowerment of the county service centers in particular. Section 7.2 and more 13. I read, for the purposes of the operation of the county service center, 40% of revenue generated from the operation of the county service center shall remain with the local government. County service centers are one-stop center for government services in the counties, for the procurement of services, or matters that require listening, among others. The President noted at a meeting, it appears that those centers have been established across 15 counties and performing low capacity because the revenue generated. Why the centers out. The President said, once the service centers can be 40%, the amount will show that the center remains up and running and that we can deliver on the responsibility. The President also called on board of senators, authorities, the county level representation of those offices in the rural and representation at county service centers. The county service centers are meant to reduce the burden of the ordinary who have to travel to Monrovia for instance, get business marriage certificate, travel license, among other services. President resolved implementing the local stock and loss. Promise is well on course. As you can see, the first batch of FOB equipment required to address this age-old problem affecting the country have started arriving. Over the weekend, Liberia citizens witnessed transfer of the first batch of equipment to the people of Liberia, where they are being received back at training center. Liberian people are very happy that our country is being transformed in a way from the evil leadership. President resolved that to be local with the stock in the north. The government means this. President said, the country and a way to do it, country can be reached a passable all-weather road. This is a commitment that the government and the president and the people of Liberia are seeing the determination to rescue and build on the gains of our country. While our friends who believe that because they could not do this or succeed, well, we're succeeding, we must feel because we feel. We say keep pushing. The Liberian people want the country to be developed. He gave us the mandate from the presidential President Waka, and we will deliver. Calling everybody, those concerned about the acquisition of the yellow machine, to give democracy a chance. The president was elected to deliver on the dividend of democracy. And in just almost 6 months, the president is doing just that. For those who are there wishing ill for the government, we have a piece of job to do. And let that we consistently said, we can't run the country all year round with politics. We have a president who is determined to do a piece of work. The president is doing so. A couple of years ago, almost 6 months of the past government, we're not discussing the kind of tangible we're discussing now. The talk of the day was the president has built 47 million for himself. The president has acquired a private jet back at the RRA. Today you have the government in place that in just almost 6 months, tangibles, in keeping with the president's vision for a better Liberia have been manifested. Why can't we give democracy a chance to vote? When people go in the queues every day during elections to vote for a particular government, a particular candidate, they do so with expectations. And we are now working to meet those expectations where possible. We can do so around the world in the table. We can't build this country, we don't build the roads. The president is good intention. I got a call from a group of independent journalists this morning. He said the government is in Morocco talking about the road, the intervention in the road infrastructure. And I see some people trying to dispute what the government is saying. So we decided to, on our own initiative, take a road trip from Ghana to Maryland. And he said to me, I can report that the road is in 100% perfect condition. As a matter of fact, we took 3 hours on motorbike from Ghana to River G. So the government has gone well. By tomorrow, these group of journalists will be running their commentary. The government didn't know about it. They did it on their own accord. Because they want to verify. And we encourage other journalists to do so. If the government make a claim that something has been done in this part of the country, you don't have a reporter there, or if you want to go there, like we can say in our Liberian way, see is believing, you do so in the exercise of your journalistic function. That's how we have to move our country forward. So let's start the hearing. The president, one of the structure of the Liberian states, has our authority to make negotiation on behalf of the government. The NSA negotiation is subject to ratification by the legislature. Nobody is on the legislation. No law has been violated. People are trying to government on the guise of being critical. The government is committed to doing this, and we will do it, can't rain or shine. I'm happy that for the first time in many years, in the heart of the rainy season, people can move across the southeastern region of this country freely for our hindrance. The road to go to Lofa is also in good condition. That's what we want to do, and this equipment will be here. The government spent $8.9 million just to have the road in perfect condition in the first 100 days. If these machines were available, we would divert $8.9 million to something else in the national budget and make a positive impact on our country. So, the step taken by the president to acquire these air-moving equipment is a laudable venture in the right direction, and we call on our citizens to continue to celebrate that the government is working as seriously well to meet the expectation of the citizens of our country. That being said, I now stand on the existing protocol to invite the Honorable Neutah, Minister of Agriculture, to the podium.
So, folks, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from, I'll be on TV. We have the Minister of Information and Cultural Affairs and Tourism, where the Minister of Agriculture will address the special MICAT briefing today.
I want to thank the MICAT team for this opportunity again to come here and brief our Liberian people on happenings in the agriculture sector. The last time we were here, one of the key things we said said here was, we have committed ourselves as an institution to provide for the Liberian people a national agricultural development plan that will lead the sector over the next 6 years. That plan, we tried and achieved that during the first 100 days. The plan was formulated, technically validated, and also validated by our partners to be used as the single most important policy instrument in the agricultural sector for the next 6 years. The National Agricultural Development Plan has been dubbed Liberians Feed Yourselves Agenda. That agenda is intended to ensure that Liberians all across the country get into production with the intent of making themselves self-sufficient in the most critical commodity they consume, rice. The President has always made it clear that before he leaves office, Liberia as a nation should be able to feed herself. And to do that, we have been mandated as an institution that governs the direct activity in the sector to provide a clearly defined pathway that will lead us to achieving the President's vision. So, in our National Agricultural Development Plan, we have targeted various commodities that will not just lead to national self-sufficiency in our major food commodities, but also support the creation of indigenous wealth. The President's vision is that those who depend on agriculture as the source of income have sufficient opportunity to be able to transform their labor into income. So he has mandated us through the process of developing this national plan to clearly define the sources of realizing his vision. So in the plan, we said we're going to be looking at food crops. The food crops we are targeting will be rice, cassava, maize, and vegetable. In the plan, we have clearly defined that before the end of 2029, we should be able to develop 50,000 hectares of lowland specifically dedicated to rice production. It is our aspiration that by developing 50,000 hectares, we should be able to produce sufficient rice that the Liberian people can consume and ensure that the revenue that we use to spend on importation of rice is saved for other national purposes. We also want to ensure that we develop 20,000 hectares of land for cassava production. As some of you may be aware, cassava is one of the critical commodities that is important to our food economy. Some part of our country consume cassava, but our general intention is not just for food sufficiency, but we know that cassava is also a revenue generating commodity. So we want to develop cassava value chain so that we have industry that will come in here and use the cassava to produce other value-added commodities that will be exported to generate revenue also for the country. So we'll be doing more cassava and also doing maize, corn. Corn is particularly important because we know those of us who know the poultry sector, to be able to grow chicken, we must have feed. And an important ingredient of the feed is corn or maize. So we'll be encouraging our farmers to get into maize production, supported by our projects and our development partners, to expand the production of maize to support the poultry sector. We want to be able to also link this maize production with processing factory where the maize grain is transformed into various set of animal feed, not just for chicken, but also the fishery sector and other livestock like piggery. Besides these three commodities, we also want to promote vegetables so that we can have excess vegetable on our market. So we have the food commodity that will help us realize self-sufficiency in food crop or food security, but we also have some cash crops that we want to be growing to make sure our farmers in rural communities have access to to market for this commodity, where they will sell and generate income for themselves and handle other household activities. So we'll be investing in the development of the cocoa value chain, coffee value chain, coconut value chain, cashew nuts, and also the rubber. We all know the rubber value chain is critical to our economy. We want to make sure we make it more accessible. We want to make sure that the rubber sector is developed in such a way that it creates the work that Liberian people need, especially the indigenous Liberians. We also want to expand the production of livestock. We have about 7 ranches across the country. We want to make sure that we have cattle at these ranches for our farmers to grow the meat that we eat in Liberia. We should go beyond importing beef or live cattle here to produce meat for ourselves. We want to be able to grow livestock in this country that we can rely on as the source of our protein. So we'll do more fishery also. The president has said he wants to see women in the rural communities having fish pond. Inland fishery is one of the areas that this plan intends to tackle. So we have many value chains that we intend to handle. We have come today to inform the public that the plan that was developed within the 100 days will be launched on the 10th of this month. On Wednesday, July 10th, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Joseph Human Walker, will be launching the Liberian Feed Yourself Agenda, which we call the National Agricultural Development Plan, that is expected to direct our path for agricultural development. On Wednesday, the donors in Liberia who are supporting agricultural development will be gathering at the ministerial complex at 10:30 a.m., joined by the President to launch formally and officially the plan that will guide the agriculture sector. Why do we need this plan? We all know we have a lot of donors in our country that are supporting our sector in different aspects. But over the years, we realized that even though agriculture has realized or received the highest donor support in the country, agriculture has not yielded the benefit or the dividend that the population desire from this support. So this plan is intended to direct the path of investment by not just ourselves as a government, but also our development partners. This plan also creates an opportunity for those in the private sector who want to invest in agriculture as a business to find value chains of interest that they can invest in. For this plan, we have costed the plan, and over the next 6 years, the government intends to spend about $718 million in the agriculture sector. This plan will be financed not just by the government, but also the private sector and the development partners. It is our expectation that the private sector will invest into 30% of this plan. The smallholder farmers will do 5%. Our development partners will do about 40%. And we as the government will be doing 35% of that. Those funding will have to be raised by all actors in the sector. For the government, we'll be relying on our legislature to provide for all the fiscal states that will provide funding to sponsor or finance the implementation of our NADP. We've also told our donors to be able to align their investment, their future investment with the plan, so that the Liberian people's aspiration of a better agricultural economy will be realized. So we want to invite all of you, the media and the Liberian public, to the ministerial complex, 10:30 a.m., 10 July 2024, to witness the official launch of the program, of the plan. The next thing we want to speak about today is our next field visit. In April, we did our first field visit. In May, we took our first tour across the country, specifically focusing on Bong, Neutah, Neutah, and MICAT counties. During the visit, we were able to identify some of the areas that we'll be investing in for the next production year. We identified about 7,000 hectares in Neutah County, where we will be supporting farmers to grow rice and other commodities. On the 12th of this month, we intend to begin the second leg of our county tour, focusing on the western region of the country. So on 12th, we'll be visiting Grand Kitma, Bombing, Bapuru, and Bapuru counties, from 12th to the 19th. That visit is expected to let us see what possibility exists in Grand Kitma County, in Bombing County, and Bapuru for support to realizing our national development plan. We also want to use the field trip to communicate clearly with our farmers and actors in the agricultural sector in those counties, the Liberian Feed Yourself agenda, because this agenda is intended to make them self-sufficient in what they eat and also enable them to grow what is necessary to be grown for a generation. What are you going to be doing, coconut or cocoa or coffee? We are prepared to provide support for you once this plan is launched, but we will also require our partners to help, whereas we will also be expecting them as farmers to make the minimum contribution they can make in helping us implement this plan. The third thing, this is a special press conference, so we want to also talk about some of the visits we've made. I know I appear on EFBC on the Super Morning Show. Somebody told me, oh, the Minister of Agriculture travels a lot. But today, we want to brief you on why we travel. We have been traveling because we've been trying to find a way to bring in support to the sector. In July, late June, we traveled to China with a delegation from the Ministry of Finance, Agriculture, and States. And on that trip, we were able to sign 3 important memoranda of understanding. The first MOU was signed with the Chinese Ministry of Agriculture based in Beijing. That MOU created or has created an opportunity for collaboration between Liberia and China on developing agriculture in the both countries. As you know, China is for herself a developing country. We all know the role agriculture plays in China's development. China was completely rural economy, but they have been able to lift over 800 million people out of poverty using agriculture. So we want to be able to leverage on some of their experiences to help develop our own agricultural economy. The first MOU was signed, and through that MOU, we are supposed to be having some technical capacity building initiated. In fact, right now, through effort from the Ministry of Agriculture in collaboration with the embassy here in Monrovia, we sent 20 of our technicians to China last month for training. And these technicians are supposed to be returning this month and will be placed at the Ministry of Agriculture in different positions to help stir the technical affairs of the ministry. The MOU also gave us the opportunity to implement our mechanization strategy on the new plan. The Ministry of Agriculture in China has assured us that they will provide us some technical training our people who will be operating. We also initiated a process through the Ministry of Agriculture to provide for us equipment that will be used to drive our mechanization pillar of the National Agricultural Development Plan. Besides the memorandum of understanding with the Ministry of Agriculture, we also signed another MOU with the Chinese Academy of Agricultural Mechanization Services. That institution has guaranteed or assured us that they are going to be helping us with some short-term training of our technicians in irrigation management, in mechanization, and in agricultural technology distribution or dissemination. That MOU will also provide for us an opportunity to access some of the funding on their institution to develop our irrigation technology in Liberia. A third MOU was signed with an entity called the China Sanomat or the Sanomat Highland Incorporated. The company is basically involved with the sale of agricultural machinery and the development of technology that support mechanization. So that MOU will provide us the opportunity to be able to purchase from them what we need at a lower cost equipment that will be essential for developing our agricultural sector. Those three MOUs were signed in China, and then when we came back, we were also privileged to have entered into a memorandum of understanding with the International Institute for Tropical Agriculture based in Ibadan, Nigeria, the IRTA. The IRTA agreement or memorandum of understanding will enable us to have access to improved varieties of some of the commodities that we intend to develop on our national development plan. As you know, the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture is one of the elite developers of varieties, improved varieties in maize, cassava, and sorghum. So they have assured us that beginning September, they will be selling for us some improved variety of cassava cotton that we will multiply here for distribution to our farmers. This cotton, when developed and distributed, we will have our farmers growing cassava on a hectare of land that will give them up to 25 to 35 metric tons for 1 hectare, which will increase their output and income generating capacity. They will also set up maize variety. In fact, a project is already being worked on that will bring on board improved varieties of maize to increase the output of the maize sector. They will also introduce to us soybean. We know soybean is also critical for feed production and also essential as a source of oil. We want to scale up soybean production so that we have industry in Liberia producing oil for the local market. So these 4 MOUs that we signed as a result of our travel to these 2 countries will yield us dividends that will be helpful in the implementation of our national agricultural development plan. Finally, we want to just give you some updates of what we have been able to do in the sector since we took over at the Ministry of Agriculture. When we talk about the targeted rice as the primary commodity, so we had initially said we want to do 2,000 hectares. That was our target for the year. But after the field trade we made, we have been able to raise that target to 4,000 hectares. We are doing 2,000 hectares from our current projects, doing 1,500 hectares on what we call the Emergency Rice Production Defensive Project that is financed by the African Development Bank. We're also trying to do 400 hectares on the Saffron project that we run at the Ministry of Agriculture and 100 hectares on the IFA project. These production targets are expected to be realized by the end of this year. For cassava, we have said we are going to change the way we grow cassava. We want to be able to bring our farmers into production units where we help them with land development to be able to grow their commodity on a sedentary basis. We do not want to see our farmers shifting from one production site to another every year. So we have targeted developing this year 320 hectares, or the equivalent of 800 acres of land. What we do for these people is we came with a yellow machine, lay out the place, and get them there to grow cassava. We are doing the same thing on 200 hectares of land for maize production in 4 counties. In Neutah, we are doing land preparation for 120 hectares, 28 hectares. We're also doing 100 hectares in the Foya area. In Lima County, we are doing 600 hectares. In Tapeta, Sacred Mount District, we're doing Yahweh Mesana District. We're doing 108 hectares in Bindi, one of our production sites. We are doing 79 hectares in Gledigate District in Lima County. We're doing 52 hectares in Zoga District and 400 hectares in Tapeta. In Bon County, at the former production site, we targeted doing 1,000 hectares this year. Their preparation is ongoing for farmers to start production. In Cape Town County, we are doing 160 hectares in Gawala District. In Grand Bassa County, we are doing 40 hectares in compound number 2. For cassava production, we are also working in Cape Town. We're doing 80 hectares in Cape Town for cassava production, specifically in the Tewa District. We are doing Mosorado in Tuti District, we're doing 80 hectares. Magidi County, in the KPR community, we're doing 80 hectares. And in Bon County, in Ziensu, we are doing 80 hectares. So in all, we are doing 320 hectares in these 4 counties. For maize production, we are doing our 200 acres in Flama for those who are participating there in the cooperative. We are also doing some support for our fishery and livestock production cooperatives we have in Lima, Bong, and Neutah, and we intend to scale up production over the next year. That's the reason why we continue to have our field mission in these counties. As we move to Cape Town County on the 12th, we are going to be identifying additional potential for scaling up production. We've identified additional 2,000 hectares in Bond County, 3,000 hectares in Neutah County that we'll be planning to invest in next year. And on our ERPO, the Emergency Rice Offensive Program, we've already signed contracts with farmers, about 32 farmer groups and individuals, helping them to develop the land on which to grow their rice. This time around, we want to ensure that our wetlands across the country are developed specifically for rice production. In Mosorado County, we've identified about 120 hectares of lowland for development. And about 60 of those will be in urban Monrovia. I can assure you that beginning now in October, you will see the wetland along the Somalia Drive, not Somalia Drive, but the boulevard, the Toma Boulevard, from Catholic Junction to the former president's house. You will see that land develop and rapidly growing. That's what we intend to do. So we call on our population, those who are in farming community and in urban Monrovia, who have wetland that want to be developed, let them contact the Ministry of Agriculture and will provide the necessary support. Thank you.
So he's Agriculture Minister, Dr. J. Adesana Neutah, presenting a special press briefing here today at the Ministry of Information, Culture, Affairs and Tourism.
So you already know the routine.
We are here at the
Listen to the Minister of the National Agriculture Development Plan.
Edition of
Liberia yourself will be launched
with
on Wednesday
the Ministry of Agriculture.
at the Ministerial Complex.
So you heard him very well.
President His Excellency
will be the question and
Ambassador
answer
Boya will be
period.
there along with donor partners to launch that agenda. program. So we'll now move on to formal level. I entertain questions from the media practitioners that are here. Honorable Minister, please take the notepad, your pen. We'll take 4 questions at a time, and Minister will respond accordingly. We encourage you to please focus your question and your concerns on the issues that the Minister spoke to. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Following instruction from the boss, please do so. Thank you so much. My name is Maurice Oleti, and I report for OPFM. Thank you, Mr. Minister. I think my editor was one of those that went along with you in those countries that you talked about on the tour. All of the reports were encouraging. Thank you so much. But my concern is, what's about the service? Because, for example, I'm one of those who got educated from, and who got high school education from, facing Gary. My mother used to face Gary and all of that. Inside, people used to produce cassava and face Gary. So I want to know what's about the service. Yeah. So my next question to Minister Samuel, thank you so much. You talk about the president announced 40% reduction of the salary. Do you care to tell us how much the president is making? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. My name is Arthur FPA, and I report for Prime FM, Prime Communication Network. I'd like to know particularly, I like your presentation and following keenly. What is the methodology and the strategy? I'm concerned about transitioning consumers or Liberians. What are these great things moving to motion or coming to reality? To transition Liberians to a life or create an appetite for the local rice. Because in production to create a skill, if investment is being made and people are producing this rice and people are not going for low rice, investors or producers might get disappointed. So I'd like to know how is the plan holistic? Is it inclusive of helping transitioning the consumers to that level, with their production skills, if you start up? The second thing is, are you confirming that 780 million is what Liberia actually need between now and 2029 to jumpstart with your understanding that Liberia can get the figure sum? 780 million, I'd like to get that clarity. Thank you.
Thank you. You are entitled to one question, please, so you can.
All right, my name is Judo Mukami. I write for the Bureau of Zero Newspaper, exclusively on agriculture and food security. Mr. Minister, thank you so much for your presentation. I hope I had the time to ask you several questions, but I've been asked to limit myself to more questions.
Seems a journalism reporter and food security.
Yeah, just allow me 2 questions.
He's a leading journalist in that.
Thank you. So, Mr. Minister, you talk about the various contributions to be made towards the National Development Plan in terms of analysis. My concern is, what method do you use to derive the contributions? Like, for you talk about actions, you talk about government. So we're talking about the Malabo framework, which called for allotting 10% of our total national budget for agriculture. Over the years, we have now realized that we have launched a national development plan, but it has not been supported in line with the Malabo Declaration. I was in Abuja recently. I took my trip to travel in Abuja, where African countries are now discussing about the post-Malabo. And some of the things they talk about advancement in technology and so many things will require money. So I just want to know as to how do you derive the contribution? Because governments will be allotting 10% of the total national budget for agriculture, and you're talking about 35%. My next question is, you're talking a whole lot about production. And one of the main things that I read and empowering the farming community is the issue of market. You can support cassava production, vegetable rice production.
Esse compromisso que eu queria dizer. Ok, questão.
Thank you. My name is Manu Minister, Simon, there are various speculation and rumors about the issue of theft information. And for the sake of this conversation, I think that the best person to address it, how much of this, how many of these theft moving content we are expecting in Liberia, and how much, or how many have already arrived in the country? Thank you.
My name is Anthony Gray, and I work for ECOWAS Radio. Thank you so much for your clear explanation on projects in agriculture. My concern has to do with the 700 billion plus stuff. And I want to know, when it comes to allotments, how much are you intending to allot for rice, cassava, vegetables, palm oil, or so forth? Like the 700 billion, this amount will be for rice production, this amount will be for palm oil, or so forth. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. My name is and we work for the process online television. Minister, let me say thank you for the exposing the well. But my concern has to do with where you talk about Liberia as a country now should be producing beef instead of importing. So my concern here is what are some mechanisms on your leadership you are putting in place to achieve that? You said Liberia as a country now should be producing beef instead of importing. What are some mechanisms on your leadership as a minister you are putting in place to achieve that?
The minister is taking over. Okay, so my name is Afonso and I work for the People Newspaper online. Minister Sanu, my question is directly to you. When you were in opposition, you spoke against the past president placing his photo on materials or projects that were being implemented by taxpayers' money. What has made the difference that you are repeating just then?
All right, good afternoon, and largest today, and I report for MICAT, Mr. Minister of Agriculture. Thank you for the explanation. One thing I do understand from you is that your target is to make sure that farmers are empowered and then have access to some of the production that will be carried on. But there's this saying that if somebody wants to sing, the person should be the first to raise the song. Mr. Minister, do you have a plan for each of the ministry to own a farm, to be specific the agriculture ministry? Thank you.
Okay, my name is Lois Billy and I report for Punch FM. Let me first say thank you to the Agriculture Minister for the level of work that they carry on. And I'm so happy that MICAT is one of those countries that we had in benefiting the MICAT, so I want to say thank you. But my question goes already to Mr. Sandel. Mr. Sandel, do you care telling the public, because you talk about the president 40% reduction in his salary? It's just a follow-up question from Maurice's question. Where will this 40% be going? Do you have of the same area that is being because as you recall, back then, President, we are talking about 25% reduction in the salary, but up to now, we don't know where that 25% was spent. So do you care telling the public where this 40% of the president reduction salary will be going? And my next question is, a lot of people have been asking about the yellow machine. Do you care telling the public about the source of the yellow machine? Thank you. Yes, I know the song.
Good afternoon. My name is Oliver Phillips. One question for clarity to Dr. Neutah. Neutah, you talk about a private housing for the production of rice. Just understand. We want to know, is it the government of Liberia that
So that's the final question, and the minister will map the podium to give address some of those concerns. My question
The minister request that I respond to the question first,
here.
then he will follow. So, Maurice Mati, where you at? You say, I should tell you how much the president is making. I don't have that information at my disposal. What I do know is that the government of Liberia pays the president. It's entitled to his remuneration, his benefits, including his salary. So if the president had a good faith, of course, it goes back to government purpose. Once the president decides to reduce the salary by 40%, the appropriate authority at the Ministry of Finance will act, working in concert with the Ministry of State, to ensure that the president's salary is reduced by 40%. The follow-up question to say how much is the president making, I don't have that information at my disposal. People have to communicate with the, we'll communicate with the people from the Ministry of State so they can tell how much the president is making. But from the Ministry of Information, our job is to tell the Liberian people what is happening in the country. And part of the good things that have happened is that their president has decided to reduce the salary by 40%. Don't look for where we go. We will let it go and cover. Because the fact that he decided to reduce it by 40%, we give it back to the Liberian people. The earth moving equipment. The country wants to know how many pieces have been brought into the country. The government announced that the equipment, given the size of our ports and the weight, will arrive in the country in trenches and batches. The first batch had arrived. We want to know how many pieces were included at 22 pieces. 22 pieces. So they have been taken to the barrack. Don't get confused. Why you saw blue parade or not all? There are more than in the port, they will be taken from the port to be transferred to the holding site at the BDC. So the first 22 pieces arrived. But the thing about the air moving equipment is that regardless of what response you give the smart will think about say what is the source of the air moving equipment. A simple Google search will tell you where the machine comes from. Why are they in the country? They're in the country manufacturer. It would seem to me that the machine gets something from the bush and they guy like this. They come from the manufacturer, the company. And they are here because the government of Liberia is negotiating with them. The presence of those machines in the country suggests that the negotiation has delivered some tangibles upon which the government of Liberia will take the next step. So, don't ask for the source. The idea because your government is negotiating. If the government of Liberia had not engaged the manufacturer by all the terms and the agreement of the negotiations are, the machines will not be here. So they are here, and the government will act. Like I said to you when I was presenting, the president
has the authority, is the chief negotiator of the country. He can enter into negotiations. And based on the terms of those negotiations, it can be subjected to ratification by the legislature. You and I have not seen whatever terms of the agreement that the executive has entered into with the manufacturer of machine. We continue to ask our friends in the media and our friends in the opposition, all of the hype that you're creating about this machine, why are they turning out to be the other way around? What would you say? We can't be playing politics with everything in our country. We have consistently indicated that the president is committed to addressing the perennial problems of war. He's taking those steps. I see some of our friends in the media want to compare this with the Igbo man that never came to fruition and what have you. This is no Igbo man. This is a different set of agreement that is absolutely dissimilar from previous negotiations entered into by past government and didn't come to fruition. Just before the thing is even concluded, they have started producing results. The road maintenance zones across the country, the corridors, will be effectuated. These machines will be sent there. Young adherents from Nima County, your county, people from Bome County, Murray Petty from your county, they will be recruited and trained how to operate these machines. And job creation, right? They're not going to be foreign to deploy them with a no. The Ministry of Public Works is currently working out modalities for the maintenance corridor across the country. And that modality is concluded, and we'll have the machine people, all of the paperwork are done. We'll recruit people to train them. There were 285. 19 of them will be deployed in each of the counties. The other machine operators around the world make a lot of money. So if your brother is there, he's educated, or at high school level, he can be recruited, he can be trained, and he will be deployed as one of the workers to control these machines. So this government has prioritized transparency and accountability. Nothing is hidden in any kind of black box or asking what the source of the machine is from the company, the manufacturer. They are brought to the country because the government is negotiating with them. When the negotiations are concluded, you will know the terms of the agreement. Why? Because the government is committed to transparency and will have no intention of deviating from that path. Okay, so I think those are all the questions. Did I all look at anybody?
Yeah. I spoke of the president's person photo.
Okay, so the machines are not manufactured in Liberia. Those photos are not placed there in Liberia. But it's a concern that we have raised, right? So we're going to ensure that before they are deployed, you're not going to see them there. Because the project is for the government of Liberia, even though it's one of the presidential infrastructure projects, but for whatever purpose the president picture was placed there, it was not for political reasons. But before they get deployed, that will be addressed. You get rest assured.
So, Mr. Daniel Olson, Deputy Minister for Technical Services, addressing key questions from our media colleagues here.
So before the minister speaks, I just want to emphasize that during the cabinet retreat, the president emphasized that the picture should be removed. He said he wanted to take Liberia, love Liberia, and build Liberia. And it's unfortunate that they removed it from him. They brought it to the country. But who addressed that? But I just wanted to know what the president's position is on his page of inflation.
Okay, thank you. So I will first address the concern from the Southeast. You know, the Southeast is the central part of our plan. But what we say we want to do, our national plan is based on comparative advantage. I know every county has some niche. We want to look at that and develop it. In the Southeast, we have identified that the southeastern counties, especially for those from the coastline, they are good at growing coconuts. So we have identified and rating a specific program
submitted it to one of our partners who sponsored the cultivation of 2 million coconut trees in the 4 coastal counties in the southeast. That's Sino, Riverside, Grand Prix, and Liberia counties. Those 4 counties. If we get the funding to implement the project, in those counties, our smallholder farmers will have at least 1 hectare of coconut plantation that they will grow and sell the coconut to a factory that will encourage to go there to transform the coconut into some value-added product to start out, agriculture and industrialization in that part of the country. So we have not forgotten. In fact, right now we still have some of our projects operating in the southeast, and we intend to have our third leg of the country tour taking place in the southeast. We do that hopefully August. We wanted to try now we know that we are sure that there is growth in the southeast. We can go there anytime and visit our farmers. So we'll do that hopefully next month. Somebody talk about the appetite of Liberians and the local rice. And also one of the verify what I would very than $718 million. So what we're trying to do to make sure Liberians eat what we grow is to bring on board varieties that you are already eating. In the past, Liberia had the lactone tree. So these are elite varieties that Liberians like to eat. It's good that we don't find them on the market. It is the post-harvest handling aspect of it that we want to make sure it is improved. We want to be able to go to the market and get the Liberian rice on the market at an affordable price, stone-free, and palatable. So we have encouraged our major producers, few of them, to bring in some of the varieties that they are right now multiplying for us to almost distribute the seed rice to farmers who will be producing them massively. Right now, the project team is working on identifying 5 varieties or 5 brand names that will be on the market by next year. But next year, this time, we should be able to have Liberian produced rice on the market in different brands that we can identify with. And each of those brands will have its unique quality. But we can assure you that we are doing our best, and Liberia would like the best that you'll see on the market, because we'll do everything to make sure that the post-harvest handling of it is done efficiently. And the second part, yes, the plan is actually $776,776,000. That's what we're going to be investing. So that's pretty close to $18 million. The second question came from the total contribution, access, and the strategy we use to apportion the contribution we mentioned, right? Yeah. Okay. So here, I want to be exact. So let me go back and check my. Okay. Will be distributed one on the back cross-cutting issue, those activities that support development of the sector. And the first of the cross-cutting issue will be technical capacity building, the development of or establishment of an agricultural enterprise development plan, strengthening capacity at the technical level at all of the institutions that are associated with agricultural development, and also making sure that those who will be working in the sector have the requisite skills and logistics to implement our plans. So for that one, we have allotted $108 million. What we are saying is, for capacity development or for the cross-cutting issue, the government should show us 60% of the cost and our development partners 40% of the cost. For the real value chain development, we're growing the rice, the cocoa, the fish, and all of these. What we need for that investment over the next 6 years, we've done $609 million $281,000. That's what we need over the next 6 years. And what we are saying as a government, the government will provide 30% of the investment needed to develop the value chains that we targeted. Our partners, the development partners, we are seeking to solicit from them 45% of the investment as needed. And for the private sector investment should constitute about 20% of the investment needed for the value chain development. Of course, the farmer organizations that we are going to be working with, it is our expectation that their contribution will amount to 5% of the total budget needed for the implementation over the next 6 years. And how do we get this cost? Today, costing of the activities that are needed to implement the plan, and based on the costing, we were able to come up with the different costs per value chain, RA, and then a portion is shared by government and partners will be making to ensure the plan is successfully implemented. So over the next 6 years, it is expected that government contribution to that plan should be around $248 million over the next 6 years. And our donors will bring in, expected to bring in about $317 million, whereas the private sector investment will be around $121 million. And then the farmers themselves, through the contribution they make through the land and all of what they do, we value that at $30 million plus. So this is how we will do it. And talk about access to market for farmers. Of course, this is critical because if you produce a commodity and you do not have a market for it, you get discouraged. This is what we are saying. If we say, look, grow rice, we want to make sure that those who will grow the party rice will not be the one that will do processing. We want to be able to establish these production hubs where those who grow the rice will sell the party to the processor, who will then process it using the best technology and put this rice on the market. For cassava, we want to be able to align cassava production with a processing facility. In fact, recently I was in Ghana. I had a conversation with a Chinese group that is based in Ghana that is coming here. I'm expecting them here on the 15th of July. They are coming to explore the possibility of establishing this cassava starch production factory that will be able to provide the fresh cassava root from our farmers and process it for the market. So the farmer will have access to market in that sense. The same with maize. We just had a conversation with somebody who wants to come and establish a feed processing mill here to to purchase the maize grain from our farmers and process it into chicken feed or other animal feed for the market. So the farmer will have access to market in that sense. If you talk about accessibility, maybe farm to market road, we are undertaking some project. In fact, our IFA project has been doing some work in that direction in Lofa, Bon, Nimba, Lofa and Bon and Nimba. We are going to be expanding that to Bon County, where some of the feeder roads that will support our smallholder production size will be developed. And the same thing will be taking place in other parts of the country. I was talking with the Minister of Public Works, they are planning to support some of the feeder road projects that they have, and especially link those agricultural production cluster to market, where the farmers can produce and sell their produce. The colleague from ECOWAS Radio asked a question about the allocation of the cost and value chain. So what we have said is for rice, for us to realize our target of developing 50,000 hectares, we said the budget, the money we needed for that would be $178,255,000. For the cassava value chain, we intend to do 20,000 hectares. We are saying, because see what, when we say rice, we are not just supporting farmers to just go. We want to help to lay out the land, the sun, put into place some level of irrigation so that we'll be able to produce more than once a year. That's why we are doing this. We do not want them to just go away. If you go to the field, it should be laid out. And when you lay out lay it out for them or supporting the lay it out, they will be able to produce them more than once a year. That's what we want to realize. For cassava, we want to be able to spend $27,230,000 for development of the sector over the next 5 years. For maize, we are looking at investing $18 million in developing the maize value chain. Then for vegetable, we told our partners we need to be able to say, well, if I'm supporting a smallholder group of farmers who are women or youth in vegetable production, let's go and develop the land for them so that they will stay there. We should go beyond giving them seeds. So the investment necessary to develop what we have targeted here for vegetable production will be $2 million over the next 5 years, 6 years. Then for cash crop, we've got cocoa, coffee, coconut, cashew, and rubber. For cocoa, the intention is to spend $1,275,000. For coffee, we want to do $32 million. For coconut, we said we want to do $30 million. Like I said, we've already written a project in this land for the coconut that we have already shared with some of our partners. They are looking at it. For cashew, some of us know what cashew is. Cashew is a high income generating commodity. We are talking about investing $48 million in the cashew production over the next $29 million over the next 6 years. For the rubber sector, of course, we all know how important the rubber sector is. We want to go beyond just supporting production. We want to ensure that those who are into the rubber sector can actually do some value addition. So we'll be supporting industry and we'll be invested in real value addition in the rubber sector. We want to go beyond just producing and process rubber and selling them. We should process our rubber down here. So the plan is for the government to support, not government alone, but the plan is calling for an investment, additional investment of $52 million in the rubber industry or rubber sector. We also want to do some fruit crops. Those of us who like to eat fruits. If you went to buy avocado, for example, you will see that you might not find it, and if you find it, it will be expensive, right? So what we want to do is to develop avocado. We want to spend $28 million into $26 million in avocado production. For oranges or citrus, we want to do $22 million. For mango, we want to do $18 million. For papaya or pawpaw, we want to do $17 million. And for banana, we want to expand it and do $31 million. You can actually do integrated farming with these commodities. So we want to do that. And for livestock production, we are looking at $45 million in the livestock sector. For small ruminants, like goats, sheep, we want to be able to do some restocking in isolated counties. We want to be able to invest about $1 million in there. For poultry sector, we want to do $1.5 million. For piggery, we want to do about $900,000 in there. And then for the fishery or aquaculture, inland fishery, we want to be able to spend $12 million in that sector for over the next 6 years. And then, besides this value chain, there are cross-cutting issues that support the development of this chain. And one of those will be creating a mechanization center where we put farm machines. Because we are saying that women should go beyond the old way of doing it. Subsistence farming, we want to go beyond that. And to be able to do that, our farmers should have access to mechanization services that will help them with land preparation, cultivation, and post-harvest handling. So we want to be able to establish these centers in designated areas. We have budgeted $25 million as the requisite investment in that land, though we are asking some of our partners to support us with some of the equipment. Then to strengthen agricultural research and extension, revamping carrying and other institutions that will be supporting research and technology development in the sector, we want to be able to spend $8 million. For building the capacity of the Ministry of Agriculture itself, training, bringing on board new staff, buying the logistics. We are saying $8 $7 million is needed for that. I think the first time I came here, I kind of highlighted the technical gap that exists at the Ministry of Agriculture. In Liberia, we have 100 agricultural districts. And each of these districts is supposed to have a district agriculture officer. But today, the real story is we have just 25 active district agriculture officers across the country. The second thing is, in each agriculture district, if you want to make agriculture work, we need to have plant technicians, 3 of them per district. That means we need to have 300 agricultural technicians, plant technicians, that will provide these advanced services that our farmers need. Today, we have 0 plant technicians. So the technical capacity of the ministry is grossly, weak. So to build the capacity, get the right people trained, we need to spend that amount of money over the next 6 years. We were talking about developing an integrated model for agro-business development, support of agro-businesses. When you talk about, market assets, developing other assets, or trying to teach our people to make that green food, bringing on board the diversity. We need to spend $4.5 million. That's the plan over the next 6 years. And then establishment and capitalization of an agricultural enterprise development bank. You said if the private sector participation in this plan would be effective, they must have access to finance. But currently, everybody knows that the banking sector right now only lend for commercial purposes. They are lending to those who can quickly return that money and pay back with a loan with interest. But agriculture is unique. You cannot have, depending on the stage of the value chain you want to participate, it's not possible for you to go and get a loan for 2 years and you expect to pay back that loan. Secondly, the interest rate that these banks pay or give out to people required to pay is so high. So we are saying if agriculture should work, we must have a dedicated banking institution that understands the rates associated with agriculture. So that's for allocation. And somebody asked for the mechanism to support beef production. I think you already saw what we have on livestock production without cost there. But Liberia has, or in the past, operated 7 ranches that were actually doing cattle production. So what we intend to do is to revamp those ranches, restock them. We are trying to work with partners and investors who will come and work on some of the things. So we want to do that. That's a mechanism. We will rehabilitate and restock we intend to restock our ranches so that we grow some of the cattle that we need for beef production. Then somebody raised the idea of ministers owning their own farms. I wish I had an alternative to just ask everybody to do it. And everybody would be a farmer. But I can only account for myself as a minister. I had my own farm before I became minister. Because I know agriculture is the way out. I started farming in 2020. I bought my first farmland. So we'll be encouraging our fellow ministers and cabinet colleagues to be farmers. Because it is agriculture that will drive this economy. If we have to solve the problem of food insecurity, we have to all be a part of it. But don't just say the ministers. You yourself, who are journalists, you go on farm to see them. Have fun to. Some of you have your own land. Develop it. You will get some assistance. We will not minister, we have fun. So you don't have to be minister before you have fun, right? Somebody got some decent monies. Invest in the agriculture sector. We will support you. Don't wait for the minister to do it. Then the last question has to do with, we asked whether the 50,000 hectares we're talking about will be the government that will do it. It's not just the government. We are supporting smallholder farmers. Government is not going to own farm. This is a government farm. No. We will support the smallholder farmers and the cooperatives. We will also encourage our investors to invest in the production. So there have been people who have been asking, they want to come there and do large-scale rice production. Fine. We've been able to identify some of the major areas where rice is grown, some of the well-known, some of the statistics. As they come, you say, okay, this is what we have. You can go to this place and invest to grow the rice we eat. Government will not be growing for you, but will facilitate. That's the role of the Ministry of Agriculture. We will depend on our smallholder farmers, our cooperatives, and our investors to come and develop the value chain as commercial scale so that we can produce sufficiently for ourselves and possibly for export. Thank you.
So this Dr. J. Elizabeth Neutah, addressing special press briefing today, 8th July 2024. Come to you live from the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. So do join us tomorrow as we come back here for the Tuesday and Thursday MICAT regular press briefing. So the Ministry of Education will be here tomorrow to address the press. Folks, thanks so kindly for watching. I'll be on our television, coming to you live from the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. My name is Wise and Williams, leading you a blessed blessing on the afternoon from Liberia.